Next up, we have Southeast Missouri State head coach Tom Matukewicz. Southeast ranked 21st in the First Stats Perform poll that was released for the spring portion of the season. They're going to go to Eastern Illinois for this weekend's game. So, Coach, just some thoughts. Your game didn't get played last week, but heading into now, what's going to be the first game of the spring season?
Yeah, well, we think the sun is shining. So that's the best thing we got going on, and we had a good little practice yesterday and looking forward to practice today. And I think we're just like anybody else. We just can't wait to play. And so we have a tremendous amount of respect for EIU and Coach Cushing and his staff. You know, last year they didn't have a great record, but they were in every ball game almost. They were in our ball game from a year ago, and those kids played really hard and they played smart. So they certainly have our respect. Got to go there again. And so one of the challenges with COVID and the budgets and all these things is we're going to travel same day. And so we're going to get up early Sunday morning, drive up, get a peanut butter jelly sandwich, go play some ball, get on a bus, come home. So that's certainly something as the head coach that we're trying to make sure our players understand how to get ready and travel day of and also compete on the same day of the travel.
All right. Thanks, Coach. We'll open for questions. Tom, if you have questions, you can go ahead.
Well, Coach, you mentioned yesterday you practiced. So was yesterday your first outdoor practice, like in a normal environment? You can do everything you wanted to do?
Yes.
Okay. What are you going to do this week conditioning wise to kind of ramp up, because you have lost time from last week? You got to kind of condense everything into about 5 days. So conditioning wise, how are you handling that this week?
Normally we run twice a week. We're going to run 3 times a week. We have been really focusing on this since January. So I don't think we were behind. One other thing that we adjusted last week was our lifts went to more of a circuit training lift where they got their heart rate up and got to breathing heavy in the weight room. But Coach Napoli, our strength coach, and his staff have done a really good job. Our players understand that we have to be in great shape. And so I feel like we're going to be okay.
When you think of Eastern Illinois football, you always think of the great quarterbacks that they've always had through the years and that sort of thing. What do they do offensively to create problems for you? What's your concerns?
Well, they're very well coached, and so schematically they design really good plays. Very hard to defend. It's not just traditional plays. A lot of jet motions, a lot of condensed formations. So just not normal. Put the ball down, run our plays versus their defense. So Coach Coos, their offensive coordinator, was actually on staff at Toledo as an assistant when I was there. So I know him well, and he's a very, very good football coach. He's the son of a coach, and so it's hard. They're very well prepared. So not only do they have a couple good players in there, schematically they have some challenges also.
Okay. You had mentioned a couple of times in this offseason, your offensive line coach, Jason Onya Buagu, if I got that right,
Yep.
that he had done, you used the term awesome, and you've really been complimentary of him. What does he do well as a coach?
Well, I think he does well what every good coach does well, but I think what specifically I've been impressed with is his ability to make things simple so our kids are playing fast and physical. I felt like in the past our players were thinking too much and they weren't able to play fast and physical. So I think other than the normal coaching things that great coaches do, I think his ability to simplify things, even fundamentally, they use a lot of same steps versus different plays, and he's just very well thought out. Even when I interviewed him, that was something that really stood out to me.
Okay, I know you have a history with him, and so you've liked him for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And you coached him or he was part of Northern Illinois' program. Is that correct?
Yeah, he was on the offensive side. I was on the defensive side, but I always noticed him. He was a leader. He had this just his personality that people gravitated to him. He's a really calm demeanor. There is a fire and intensity about him, but it's never out of control. He just has a good body disposition about himself and how he interacts with others.
Okay. You do have some turnover in your coaching this year, which when you have success, that happens to football programs. What are some things that you try to do to maintain stability in your coaching staff as you get successful and other programs see you're successful? And obviously, they're going to want your coaches. So, what are some things that you can do as a head coach to kind of keep guys in the house, so to speak?
Well, we want them to leave. If they get a great opportunity, man, that is a feather in our cap. We've had lots and lots of coaches that go on and do bigger and better things in their mind, and so that's a good thing. I think what we can't have happen is we can't lose our identity and lose our way because we have a constant turnover. So one thing I've gotten a lot better at is an onboarding. So I take every new coach through an onboarding class. So I teach them who we are and how we go about our business. But also, I think one thing my coaches appreciate is they have a tremendous, like their DNA is all over this program. Like it's not just the Coach Took show. So every coach really does feel like they have input and can affect the program because that's the way it should be. And so I think our guys appreciate that and that they could come here and grow. And obviously, if they want to stay, and a lot of coaches have decided that they want to ride this thing out, but other coaches have gotten those other opportunities, which is great. I had two coaches that were able to get an internship with the NFL over the summer. And so, people are noticing, and it is a deal that as an organization and program, we got to be aware of, but it certainly shouldn't be trying to stifle people and not try and, why I'm asking them to come help us achieve their mission, but also the program should help them achieve their mission also.
If I enrolled in the onboarding class, what's something I would learn? What's a trait of Southeast Missouri State football that a new guy needs to know?
Well, it's a 4-week program, so there's a lot. But basically, they need to understand how we treat people here is the biggest thing. That is my decision. Like as a head coach, I decide how people are treated in our organization. So just making sure we're all on the same page. And my job as the head football coach is to have great clarity. If there's confusion, that's a weakness of my leadership. So you'll come out of there without a lot of questions, I guess is the best way to put it.
Okay. A football, more on the field question. Last year, you didn't have to worry a lot about your kicking game, punting and kicking. You had really good players at those positions. This year, you may have really good players, but you have brand new players. So we're going to find out Sunday if you have really good players.
No, you hit it on the head. It was a complete strength of the team going into the fall, and now it's a toss up, and that's probably been more affected than anything, but by not being able to go outside the last 2 weeks. Yesterday we kicked a bunch and it looked bad, and so both punting and kickoffs and field goals. So and it probably should look bad. I mean, we've been in a winter storm, but that's a concern, and it doesn't matter until we get in a game. You don't know what you're going to see. I believe in those players, and we're going to coach them. And if they do have problems, I believe they are fixable because they do have talent there. And so it's our job to get them in position to build that skill so they can be successful.
Now you used 2 punters against Southern Illinois, which seems about like 9 months ago, that game. But do you leave it up to Coach Martin to kind of determine how he handles which kid goes out and which kid's going to attempt this field goal and from this distance, and kind of put it in, or just communicate with him and like, let's make sure we got a strategy here and all that?
Yeah, got a strategy, and basically what are their strengths, and try to put their players in a position to make plays. Like, does this guy do this and that guy do that? But ultimately, those are all practice scenarios. So until we get in a game, you don't really know how guys are going to respond.
Yeah.
And so we don't know what we're going to do, because it kind of depends on how they're performing. What we have to be able to do, just like any first game, is we have to adjust, right? They'll have to adjust. Like, we don't know what's going to happen, but we know we're going to have a problem on something, right? And so as coaches, we have to be as prepared as humanly possible, and then put those guys in a great position to execute.
All right. That works for me. I appreciate your time, Coach.
Thanks.
Coach, we appreciate you taking time to join us, and best of luck on Sunday.
Thank you.